And it's your favorite entertainment news program right here on Plus TV Africa. This is Tea Time. And you know how we do it right here? We bring you the newest, the latest, and the raciest entertainment stories. But it's not just business as usual this afternoon, as we have a studio guest. I'm Tokumbo Taiwo, and I'm here with the smart, sensible, super-duper LC Godwin. And also here with us is the fact-finding and investigative Ife Oshunkeye. Hello, you two. Mission impossible stuff. So, if I take it, you liked your intro this afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
As usual.
CIA, come for your boy, man. Investigate.
So petty.
What do you mean, super? Are you jealous, Elsie? I gave you good accolades as well. So what's the problem?
He didn't pay attention to mine.
He didn't pay attention.
No, come on. But those are like, it was stating the obvious. So why should I pay attention to the obvious?
Ooh.
I want your heart's mark, right?
Oh. All right. So anything new this afternoon? Did you find anything, Elsie?
Okay.
It's the investigative affair. So what did you find?
Ooh.
No, let's start with Nigeria. So let's talk about Ike and his wife.
Yes, is it ringless? They said
the ringless finger, and I think she was making a statement doing that anyway. She was just showing off that look. I'm done with Ike. She took off her name like 2 weeks ago.
Exactly.
And
I was going to
now
say
she was showing us a finger without the ring. So,
do you think it's finally over? Because initially
real relationships go through hell.
Exactly. That according to him.
What's the second part?
The ones that are dead go through.
Please go and help him, because I don't understand what you
We
put
need to
there.
be praised for Ike.
But I wish them well. If that's the case, I wish them well. If that's not the case, I wish them well.
And then this afternoon, I've been going through like what's new, what's not, what's hot, and what's not. You know, I have to say one of the things that is bothering me is this xenophobic attacks in South Africa. 9 shops, 9 Nigeria. It started again, and 9 shops were just like, you know, razed to the ground. You know, so I'm like, oh.
Started again.
Is this like a yearly occurrence now?
I don't really know what's going on.
Wow.
But it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm Nigerian.
Okay, on the lighter note, let's talk about Wiz Khalifa.
Yes, Wiz Khalifa. Oh, there's so many exciting stuff this afternoon.
Is back in the news, and this time for 2 major stuff. The first one, he let his kid ride on the bus, and you know he's doing something like a reality show now. So I think the world can see what he does now, and he's been getting a lot of backlash. Like, look, you guys are rich, so why is your kid riding the bus? And the little boy is like, he wants to ride with his friends, he wants to be with them. You have a normal life. The fact that I'm a celebrity doesn't mean my child can have a normal life. And then there's this Vitigo girl, Winnie Harlow. Yes, and it's been rumored like for a while now, like they're dating, and Amber Rose even blessed their relationship because she thought Winnie is a sweetheart. So
You see this life. One relationship is ending and that one is starting. Try it.
Well, the thing about Winnie is she's different. She has vitiligo. It's a skin pigmentation. Vitiligo, right? Yeah.
She's a human.
All right.
Yeah, but she's different. No, it makes her different.
Sorry?
Don't make me look bad. Let's just go on.
All right, I think it's about time we moved on. Okay, so as mentioned earlier, we have a studio guest. He's an emerging artist that focuses on alternative hip-hop. He started in music at an early age, covering popular songs on YouTube with the piano, which has actually increased his following on the platform. His versatility in music takes listeners on a journey through different genres, showing his lyrical dexterity not just as a singer, but as a rapper and producer. His latest work and debut album is a 9-track project titled When the World Turns Story. Let's all make welcome the friendly, the fantastic, and the lyrically fluid Folasheva.
Wow, that was beautiful. I love that.
You like your intro?
I love that. Can we do that? Yeah. Okay.
Roll the tape. Let's roll the tape.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome. It's good to be here, guys.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Wow.
Folasheva, let's start from there. You know, how did you come about with the name?
That was gonna be my first question.
So Folasheva. Sheva is a name that I'd been called in high school.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Shevchenko, football player. So I used to play a lot of football.
Oh.
So when I first started my music journey, I was trying to think of names, and that was like the most difficult thing to even try to. And then one of my guys just goes, why don't you just use the name that people have been calling you since high school? So I started using Sheva, but then there was a problem. People started calling me Shiva.
Okay.
So then I put a sort of like a prefix in front of it. So that's Folasheva is my name. So Folasheva, and then that's how it
So they're not calling you Folasheva now?
No more Folasheva. Thank God.
Before we go further, I still want to ask on still on names, you know, because I understand that your surname is Ayeni.
Ayeni, yes.
Okay,
yes.
And are you related to the famous, popular billionaire Ayeni?
No.
Are you being shy now?
No. I mean, that would be dope too. But is it infamous, or is it just, are they just popular because of the
billionaires?
They're billionaires. Nothing crazy on that.
Nothing crazy. So
maybe I am.
Oh, the thing is coming out now. As if I knew it. I was like, you've got to be. You've got to.
Oh my God.
Oh, I don't believe this.
You sure there's no cockroach.
Yeah.
All right, so we're still on names, right? Let's talk about the name of your album, because it got me thinking.
Right.
When the World Turns Story. How did you come about that? Name?
That's a good question. When the World Turns Story, that was the last thing I did on the project. So I'd gotten all the songs down, and I was struggling with to come up with a name for because my alias is Archbishop. That's what I call it, Archbishop 44. And I was thinking of names. I thought about prophecy, all of that. And then one day when I put like the track list together, I realized that all the tracks on the album are very story based. Okay. So everything had to do with like story, whether it's first person, second person, third person, it was all story, whether it's experiences that I'd gone through personally or vicariously of somebody else or whatever the case may be. So I now decided to say, call it When the World Turns Story. Everybody has their own story, regardless of the path, regardless of their upbringing, their whatever the case may be, everybody has their own story. And it's just one of them bodies of work that I feel like that can relate to everybody depending on what track or what mood you're in, and that's
okay. All right, you know what, before we ask you the next question, because I think Elsie's been trying to ask you a question. But before she does, we're going to go on a quick break. So stay tuned to find out what's new with our studio guests. We'll be right back. It's where the big stories live. This is Plus TV Africa.
When I did it, I was full on, hands-on on the whole project.
So how did you deal with it? All of that negativity?
I got depressed, obviously. Duh. Haven't you heard?
I've got two of the hottest topics currently trending on social media. If you've seen the word Senate trending on Twitter, that's because the Nigerian police force has gone Trump style.
I probably haven't shared this with anyone, but I reckon I get about like 100 people asking for help a day. That's a fact. I can prove that.
Welcome back. You're watching Tea Time right here on Plus TV Africa. Yes, and we're continuing in our conversation with singer, rapper, and songwriter Folasheva. Okay, so before the break, you were going to ask Elsie.
So your debut album will be 1 year in few weeks. Yes. How has the journey been? How acceptable would you say your music have been?
That is a very difficult question to answer because it depends on what season we're talking about. So when I first released it, I had sort of like a plan to go about it. Unfortunately, for whatever the reason was, I wasn't able to execute certain plans that one had in one's trajectory. But overall, the reception has been good. You have people that have obviously questioned, and obviously I think they're just in critiquing the project and saying, oh, you never blew yet, like, or you don't have enough material, why you dropping an album, and I understand it. But for me, I needed to get that off my back. Like, I felt like, because I always record, I'm always recording every day, and I had like a compilation of work on my system, and I was just like, I need to drop something. So initially, it was supposed to have been an EP or a mixtape, and then it got to like 9 songs, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to make this on an album. So overall, it's been, I've had positive reviews, I've had certain negative vibes from it as well. A lot of people saying we're used to you rapping and you're doing a lot of singing now like that. But these are things that you're going to get in the industry regardless. You have to, when you want to cater to a demography, certain people are going to, you know, critique that when you want to go here, certain people. So I think the most important thing is just to stay true to your artistry. And
so you're part of those MI was talking about?
Well, yeah, apparently.
All right, you know what, guys? Okay. Yeah, before we ask our next question, I think for people who haven't actually seen what you do, we'll give them a chance to actually have a look. So here's Folasheva with one of his tracks and singles. So take a look and have a listen.
Can you please just help find out that there's no reason for you to be seen as a night dress clothes? Don't you know how these feelings come about? Yeah, just breathe, baby. Help me just breathe, baby, yeah. Oh yeah. What you gonna do, cause it's about to go down. It's about to go loud. What you gonna do when the lights go out? Biting your lip and making you weak, she calling me baby. Bending your feet, now look what you made me do. Got me squeezing up my face like I'm mad at you. True. Now I'm marking around your skin, this is art tattoo.
All right, so that was a very short clip regarding some of the things that he does when it comes to music. Folasheva there with Breathe, that was it was, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
All right, so you were going to ask a question?
I think I've even forgotten this.
You know what? Breathe. Just breathe. Just breathe.
Now, so you're a jack of all trades. You sing, you rap,
He's a producer.
You're a producer.
You know.
I'm sure you did some directing in that.
No. I'll give that one to.
Sure?
I'll give that one to Mr. November.
And are you a lawyer?
Yeah. And then you're a lawyer.
Oh,
so have you been called to bar?
Yeah. I was in the court last week. Yeah, I still practice. I go to work.
Still practice?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was in court last week.
So how do you combine that?
I think that's where the problem is, creating that nexus between one life and the other life. So with law, it kind of starts in like AM and ends like afternoon, night, and then I usually would rest for like 2 hours, and then music starts, which is usually night time. Do you understand? And that's where you can get people to come to the studio to vibe, to listen to. So it's not a lot of rest. Some people have even said I've lost weight, but it's part of it. It's part of the journey, like that. It's definitely not easy. Trying to juxtapose both of them like that is hard.
Please don't add weight. You look good like this.
Like this? Thank you very much.
Somebody shooting shots. Somebody shooting shots. I think she's the chef now.
Chef.
Okay, so I want to ask about one of your other songs. What's it called now? One with the Confessions.
Confessions, yes.
Yes. So what's the deal with that? Because I think there's some kind of religious theme going along through. Is that correct? Or
yeah. So it's we decided, the director and I, shout out to Ayomiko, we wanted to create. So Confession is the first track on the album.
Okay.
It's called Intro, and we wanted to create because with that I was sort of ranting and just saying what I wanted to do on this project and how I've been like trying to shake off the shackles, and all of that. So, like I said earlier on, one of my aliases is Archbishop 44, so that's why you see the Archbishop there.
Okay.
So it's sort of the narrative of it is I'm having a conversation with myself. One party is confessing to the other that this is too much, the burden, like we said earlier on, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of nodding your head and having to take a lot of stuff that would occur you might not necessarily be familiar with on a normal day. And then the other one is supposed to help Folari now, that's the alter ego, breathe. taking him back to breathe. Help him breathe and, you know, relax his nerves and reassure him, which I think as human beings we all need from time to time, this reassurance that, you know, everything is going to be okay and all of that. So that's the dialogue between both parties and basically conflict with myself.
Yeah, so it's not really religious then.
No, definitely.
Okay, I
no
was like,
religious connotation to it.
So
because
from
it's
what
like...
you said, it means the songs on the album, they are connected.
All tracks. So the most difficult outside picking the name of the album was the track list because I needed it to flow, like, so you don't get tracks disjoint from the other. So I needed like track 1 to flow into track 2 and track 3. So they're all like, it's like a web. Say I did Spider-Man. So it's like a web all connected like that. So it trickles down and. To me, anyways, it makes sense. Like from that.
So you're a lawyer.
Yes, I am.
And you're practicing. So what do you think about the music business in Nigeria, especially the signing part, the record label, and all the whole brouhaha in that?
It's entertainment.
It's I'll be very honest, is the same anywhere. It's the same. The only difference is the entertainment industry in Nigeria is at an all-time high. It's booming, and that's why you can see all these things happening a lot more. Where somebody signs a deal, and then a couple of years, a couple of months after, he wants out, and there's a. But if you go time immemorial, it's always happened. Whether it's in the US or in the UK, it always happens like that. So. The only thing I can say from my own aspect is I read my own contracts, I do all that stuff like that, but I'm also, I understand that not everyone is privy to that, you know, arrangement. It's to they always say read the small prints like that. But the problem with that is, how do you want somebody that, you know, has not eaten since yesterday, when he has seen an opportunity, you've given him like a bonus or, you know, spending allowance, and you promised him like you're going to shoot his videos for him and all the PR work and all that stuff.
He just jumps on it.
He jumps on it, and, you know, on one hand you want to blame him and go like, dude, why didn't you read? Didn't you get, you know, legal representation and all of that? On the other hand, this guy has to feed his family. He has all of that stuff. So I think everyone just needs to, once you're in this sphere of music, everyone, I think, just needs to understand the business side of it, myself included. Like, I'm not going to, like, as much as one has a legal background, and I've made so many mistakes in terms of my dealings, my relations, dynamics between parties and all of that stuff, like, and I'm still learning at the end of the day.
All right, you know what, we'll come back to that, but in the meantime, let's take a quick break once again. When we come back, we'll be finding out more from our studio guest, emerging artist Folasheva. Stay here. It's where the big stories live. This is Plus TV Africa.
When I did it, I was full on, hands-on on the whole project.
So how did you deal with it? All of that negativity?
I got depressed, obviously. Duh. Haven't you heard?
I've got 2 of the hottest topics currently trending on social media. If you've seen the word Senate trending on Twitter, that's because the Nigerian police force has gone Trump style.
I haven't shared this with anyone, but I reckon I get about like 100 people asking for help a day. That's a fact. I can prove that.
What a wonderful way to welcome back into the show. Wonderful song there by Folasheva. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching Tea Time, and we're talking to music artist Folasheva. Okay.
You said Folasheva.
Did I?
Okay, so since we're still dwelling on the legal background, and I'm enjoying this legal vibe. It's not every time you have a lawyer and a musician sitting with you, so.
Thank you.
No, I think if you're being biased because you studied law and because you studied law.
Oh my G.
Yeah.
I tried my hands on music.
Oh yeah. Production part or
no,
everything, just like you.
You're going to speak bars though before.
Yeah, we'll speak bars together. All right. So I just think you're the definition of living the dream, because you are practicing what you studied in school and you're doing what you love at the same time. So what's your advice to a lot of young people out there that they believe that, okay, because they have a passion for music, after they leave school, they want to dump this and say, oh, I want to put all my efforts into the music, and they dump what they actually went to do in school.
Right.
So what's your advice to those people?
The first thing is, I've been privileged to having a family that actually supports that dream of music. Like, so when I first came out and I said I want to do music, aside from like my dad initially anyways, everyone kind of expected it because I'd been doing this since I was a kid, like, you know, musical instruments and all of that. So for me, you know, for me, it was a no-brainer. But a lot of people are not in that because you have, you know, family members that are like, first of all, like, no, you must do this, you must do that, you must do this. There's no particular advice in terms of how you know, somebody that has gone to school wants to do music. If it really is your, sorry, darling, if it really is your passion, then I feel like you're keen to pursuing it regardless. Now, you might have challenges because, you know, mixing your normal regular job with your, but you have to find what works for you. For me, I've not found it yet, but I think I've made great strides.
You want
water? There we go. Live.
Shooting shots. I think I should change this. Come here, my brother. Folasheva.
There we go.
Folasheva.
Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, so, you know, it's, I found a bit of bearing that works for me. As long as I can sleep for about 4 or 5 hours a day, then that's not probably medically correct or right.
So like 7 to 8
exactly,
hours.
but that's what works for me now, and, you know, I can function like that. So find what works for you, I guess. That's the only thing I can really say.
Okay, I want to ask quickly about, you know, your because I know you did a lot of covers on YouTube, you know, and you did the piano thing all over. So, like, how long did it take you to train, to learn how to play the piano, and what was your inspiration behind doing all of those covers? Because I know you had quite a lot of following on there.
Right. So it goes back to when I was 8, 9. My dad got me a piano for my birthday. And he tried to get somebody, my dad is Anglican, so he tried to get somebody from church.
Sorry to cut in. Are they also musical?
Who, my dad?
Yeah, or your parents?
No. I'm like the first, you know, one from that.
All right, go on.
So he got me the piano, and he got somebody from his church, the choir master in his church, to come and teach me how to do it. So he brought like small, I don't know if you're familiar with small wood, reading music basically. He literally lasted for about 5 days with me. I frustrated him, like he ran away. And then I started using like one finger to try and play all them tracks then. And from there I started developing and harnessing, you know, the sort of like dexterity in terms of playing, you know, the piano. And then I got to the UK for university or to study. And I used to miss a lot of like Nigerian songs, like, or you know, I would be feeling or listening to the track when people have already bumped the track here and they've enjoyed it and they've probably exhausted the tracks. And I used to try and cover these songs. And I started putting it up on YouTube, like that, just Nigerian covers, some Western covers. I think, like, can I just brag a little bit? I think legit, the first Nigerian to be putting covers of Nigerian songs on you. Not the first guy to put covers, or like the first guy to put.
We don't quote you like that. He was the first guy.
But I mean, you know, numbers don't lie. So if you go on YouTube, you see 10 years ago, like all of that stuff like that. So, so I started doing it, and because of that, I started getting like, first of all, from like my university, like, because I was active in like the ACS society, all of that. I started getting like notoriety from that. And then obviously playing piano at events as well and all of that. So from there, you know, the following came, like, and people started seeing like, oh, somebody subscribe to you. And I was like, oh, I'm liking it. Let alone, it started getting me a lot of attention as well from, you know, females as well as males, but, you know, females. And I started liking it because I was a younger guy. I must have been like 18 or 19 then, and I liked it, so I kept doing it. But then after uni, I couldn't keep up with, you know, because I was doing it like every week, and I didn't do it as, you know, YouTube. You earn money. You can earn money from YouTube then I wasn't thinking about all of that.
Okay.
I was just doing it.
All right, we haven't got long, so we need to quickly round up. So let me just, hone in on my earlier question there. So I know you did like a 1 week time on the piano with your choir master. So the rest of it, you were self-taught?
Yes. I
Oh, wow,
myself,
wow.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Wow.
I really need to ask you this question. One thing that caught my attention when I was on your Instagram page was the fact that you were with Skepta. What's the relationship?
Oh, Skepta. Skepta is not like my guy or anything like that. I met Skepta December last year through a friend of mine. His name is Leon Dapo. And he came to the house. I have a studio in the house as well. Did music, made beats, recorded there. Linked up with him when we were staying as well. So yeah, that's basically it.
Okay, we're out of time, unfortunately. That's what we're going to have to wrap up this on the afternoon version of Tea Time. Join us tomorrow for the latest entertainment news. Until then, a big thank you to my co-anchors, Ife and Elsie, the entire production team, and of course, our studio guests. Yes, Folasheva. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me.
I'm talking about I was saying thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. We'll see you tomorrow.